Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to More with Mindy. This is the Monday before Thanksgiving. I am joined by a very special guest, Michele Stillman, who has found her calling from the other side. And super excited. Many of you who may know that I really am a believer in this. When I was going through a variety of life changes, most recently changing like my marital status, I went with Michele, I went to some other experts in that field and really felt some sort of comfort level. And it was very fulfilling for me. Obviously sought other types of therapy and things like that too, and it's in my book, and I think whether you believe it or you don't believe it, Michele, that there's no harm in that, right?
Absolutely not. And I always say the most important thing and what I feel so blessed with the gift, literally a gift that was given to me, is that people tell me I did give them peace. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's not just giving people who are alive peace, but those who have passed over, I bring them peace as well. It's been so rewarding. It's the most
Because they can
incredible.
share messages via you to
Yes.
loved ones that they may have not been able to basically convey before they left this earth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or things went, as you said, things went unsaid, unfinished business, or they passed, you weren't there, and they want to tell you how much they love you and thank you for everything you've done for them. And I have to say, sometimes it's not so pleasant. And
I'm sure not.
it's a conversation, and sometimes people come back to apologize for their behavior, and sometimes they don't apologize.
And then that leaves the person sitting in front of you feeling
Um,
very distraught, I would imagine.
It's an understanding
Or
because then I share with them who they were and why they can't apologize. And it's an understanding of their background. They reveal to me their family life or what the trials and tribulations they went through. And so which brought them to the point of where they can say I'm sorry or their actions were because of their experiences. So you not only, so if they don't apologize and if they should not in any way, you have an understanding of why they can't. Now, sometimes when they want to ask for forgiveness, the person I'm reading doesn't want it.
Right.
But it's up to you. I hand you the information. I give you the message. I always say the message is sacred because it comes for they see everything that was, what is, and what will be.
That's amazing. All right, we're going to get into a lot of that
Okay.
in just a few. But before we do, I'm really interested to find out, how did you first feel this extra spirit or sixth sense or whatever you would say? How old were you? When did you first have this epiphany? Did it freak you out? Did you think you were losing your mind, literally? Can you share that with all of us?
Absolutely love to.
Okay.
Well, first thing, I'm not that child who saw dead people. Not at all. As a matter of fact, you remember when we were children and we would do seance?
Yeah.
And conjure
With the
someone
Ouija board?
With a Ouija board, and they
Yeah.
would say, think of the person you want to come through.
Yeah.
I'm that child that would say, oh God, please don't let anything happen.
Right.
And I
It
didn't.
scared you a little.
Exactly.
Me too, actually.
It did.
Yeah.
However, in 1984, unfortunately, my father passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And about a few weeks after, I was sitting outside my family home. I was young, 10.
Oh, wow.
No, not 10.
Oh, I was like,
I thought
okay.
if I could get away with 1984 being 10. Okay, yeah, I was 10. But we were sitting outside. And you know how people say when someone passed over that they hear them call your name?
They did, right.
A lot of people
I
say
think
they
I've
hear
heard
their
that.
loved ones call their
After
name.
they're already
After
passed?
they're already passed.
Okay.
But I heard my father call my mother's name.
Huh. And she was still alive.
Yes. And my mother's name was Reba, and he would always say Ree. And I'm sitting talking with my sisters and brother, and I heard my father say, Ree, Ree. And I said, I just heard Daddy say, call for Mommy. And they said, you did? And that's really, it just was like, yeah. And just like that. And
Did it scare you?
no. And this is the crazy part.
Did you think you actually heard it? Or did you think it
I
was in
heard
your
it
head?
very clearly.
You did? Okay.
Yes. One evening, I'm alone in our family home, and I'm standing by. We had a huge fireplace in the den. They call that today the great room.
Oh,
It was the
sure.
den.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm reading
right.
a magazine, and I'm just going through, and I felt someone touch my arm. And instinctively, I just moved my arm out of the way because I wanted to let someone pass. And then it dawned upon me, what am I doing? I'm alone in the house. And I actually felt a touch. But once again, it didn't frighten me. I didn't even tell anyone about it. It was just something that was comfortable. And then I had another incident where I was lying in my mother's bed. On my mother's side, my father would sleep on the left side.
Okay.
And now I tell this and people look at me. I don't really tell everybody this, so I'm going to share this
With
you,
me and
Mindy.
all of you.
All of you, I'm sharing this
Okay.
because people look at me, but the bed started to shake.
Like physically?
It started
You
to
saw
shake.
it, or did you feel it?
The bed started to
Okay.
shake. And predominantly, like the one side of the bed on my father's side.
Huh.
And I screamed out, believe it or not, we had a dog that was like a protector.
Uh-huh.
And I screamed for him because I was, again, alone in the house.
Uh-huh.
And he was actually old and dying at the time. And
The
I
dog?
jumped up out of the room and I ran downstairs and he was struggling to get up to help me.
Aw.
But again, I shared that experience. My family looked at me, but it didn't frighten me. And believe it or not, I didn't even think about it.
That's
Fast
crazy.
forward to about 2001.
So you had these incidents when your father
I always
passed, or
felt
just
someone-
random
Right,
things
yes.
were kind of out of nowhere presenting themselves to
Well,
you.
I always felt someone was listening to me.
Mhm.
And how I knew for sure, believe it or not, I am a medium, but I don't like to go to psychics because I don't
Right.
want to know. And that's some people feel that way. It's my prerogative.
Right,
It's
right, right.
everyone's prerogative. But my sister loved it. So she wanted me to go with her at the time, a psychic.
Okay.
I said, okay, I'll go with you. And she had a beautiful waiting room, and I was sitting outside, and my sister walked inside. But I always wanted to read in like the backhand of it.
Uh-huh.
So like, okay, so my sister goes inside, and I looked up, and I pointed, and I said, make that reading for me. I said, Spirit, and I don't know, Spirit, let that reading be for me. And
It was?
about an hour later, my sister comes out with this look on her face. And I said, what's wrong? I thought, my goodness, what did she tell you? She said, I just threw away my money. She said, the whole reading was about you. It had nothing to do with me. I knew right then and there someone was listening. And again,
And that didn't scare you?
no, not at all. It was actually comforting. And then fast forward another 10 years or so, I was, a girlfriend of mine bought tarot cards for fun.
Okay.
And she said, I don't know what to do with them. You take them. And I was interested in them.
Yeah, I've had
So-
that done before.
Right? So
Yeah.
I took the deck. I remember I opened it up, I shuffled, and then I flipped the cards. And I just looked down and I knew. And it doesn't come from ego, but I was never wrong. And I would just read my inner circle of friends. And I did that just, again, if you wanted a question, I would do the card reading. Then 10 years later from that, this is where the most incredible thing that was ever given to me happened.
Let's pause. And we'll come back in just a few minutes. But really quickly, I have a question about the tarot cards. Did you know what those symbols were on the cards?
No,
Like the weight, or
no.
it just clicked into your head when you saw the
I
photo or the
must have
picture?
been channeling
Oh,
a
wow.
spirit at the time.
Telling
because
you they,
exactly
I have,
what
like,
was going on
goosebumps.
in someone's life because I had no idea
Okay.
what those figures meant.
okay, that's really cool. All right, you guys, we'll be right back. Stay with us. We're going to find out what the secret thing was.
Choosing Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away, 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no obligation Medicare benefits consultation, 856-226-4800.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to create a better visitor experience.
Improve our workflow.
Attract new customers. That's when Fast Signs recommended Fleet Graphics.
Yeah, now business is rolling in. Get started at fastsigns.com.
What do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe a musician? A veterinarian? Maybe an equestrian? A mommy? Well, why not be all all these things and more, consider joining me, Dr. V, with friends and colleagues as we explore a wide range of topics together. V is for variety, here on RVN TV.
There you go, Richard. Oh! Is that too hard for you?
No. Is it too hard for you?
Woo! We're playing catch now. Oh, shit.
Why should you choose Rowan College at Gloucester County? Low cost, the #1 nursing program in all of New Jersey. More than 70 programs of study, including selective admissions. With record enrollment. A premier partnership with Rowan University. Transfer options with numerous universities. 4-year degree options on our campus. Rowan College at Gloucester County. Now you're thinking.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to More with Mindie. Today is Medium Monday, and I'm joined by Michele Stillman, who is a medium and was just about to share a very deep, dark, maybe bright secret about your tarot card reading experience and revelation.
Well, the tarot card was what I believe opened the door to me being a medium. 10 years ago, I was out with friends having dinner, and we were laughing, having a wonderful time. And all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, in my right peripheral, I see a short shadow and a tall shadow. And I turned to the next table, and there was a woman sitting. And I said, "Pardon me?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Your father, he's passed?" She says, "Yes." I said, "And you have one brother, and he's alive?" She said, "Yes." And I proceed to tell her things. And now, as I'm telling her...
And you don't know this woman from Adam.
I don't know any... No.
Right,
I'm out in a restaurant.
Right.
I'm having fun.
Right.
I proceed to tell her things. And as I'm telling her these things, in my mind, I'm saying, "Oh, my God, I can't believe what I'm saying." Then all of a sudden, I see her father. And that's when I said, "That's it. No more. I'm done." But what I found out is that when Spirit wants to give a message, I always say it's like a Tourette. It builds up. I'm compelled to say it. So I thought, how am I going to save my sanity? So I said, this is going to sound crazy, but I actually see your father. He has a full head of white hair, but it's his mustache. It's a distinct black mustache. She jumps up out of the chair, starts to cry, and said, "My father had a full head of white hair, but it was his mustache that was his signature. He once shaved it. He had to grow it back because that was his signature."
Wow.
And from that day forth, it's no longer shadows. I see, hear, and feel them, and it's been the most incredible experience of my life. Now, this is the best. I'm at a function, and I'm talking to in a gathering of women and men and women. And for whatever reason, I felt that I should look to my right. And I looked to my right, and it was like in the 10 Commandments when Moses parted the Red Sea.
Right.
The crowd parted, and a woman is coming towards me, and I can actually hear the sound of her heels hitting the floor. She walks over to me, takes her finger and says, touches my forehead and says, "You have been touched." And I did that. I said, I was touched. I said, you have no idea
Did you know who this woman was?
I never met her before in my life.
And she was like a spirit or a
Well,
person?
no, she was a person.
Oh my
and
God.
she just came over to me, but it was like in slow motion. I
Like
laughed.
she was physically here, like I
Yeah.
could see her too?
Yes, no, a person at the event.
Oh my God.
And I'm just happened to turn, and it was like time stood still.
Why did she say that to you?
She came over to me, she said, you've been touched. And I said, I have been touched. She said, you're not understanding what I'm telling you. I looked at her, and she said, you were touched by an angel. And I started to cry. I could almost cry now,
Yeah,
thinking
I'm
about it.
almost gonna
Really,
cry.
it was so emotional
Yeah.
for me because it was just a few weeks that I had this experience.
Yeah.
And I said, I was touched with the most, she said, an angel touched you. And it's been the most incredible gift I have ever received. And she was a psychic. And she just happened, she said, to feel
could
me.
probably
She
feel that
felt
you
me
had
in the
that.
room, and she just came right over to me. And it's been amazing where it has taken me. And
So how long have you been practicing with this amazing gift?
a little over 10 years now.
Okay, and
Yes.
talk to me a little bit about, I mean, we've had readings,
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
You read privately, you do events and things
Yes.
like that. What, without getting too many details away, because obviously you want to maintain the secrecy of your clients
Yes,
and
it's
so
sacred,
forth,
yes.
obviously. But what were, is there any, it's not crazy, but is there any profound stories that pop into your head, or any sense of, I guess, like serenity you were able to provide to somebody? I know you shared a little bit when we first started the
Yes.
show, in terms of, things that have come up in your experience, but.
Well, I have so many wonderful experiences that happened. I had actually something physical happen that I've never had happen before. I was giving a reading, of all places, a funeral home.
Oy,
Okay. But I have to say,
right.
it was
Why?
a woman booked me, but I didn't know it was a funeral home.
So it wasn't an actual funeral taking place or viewing?
No,
So it happened
no.
that's where she had
But
it
although
there?
I've had experiences during
Oh, I'm
funerals,
sure of
yes.
that,
But
yeah.
no, a woman booked me for a private reading, which I do.
Uh-huh.
I do 3 types of readings. I do a 1-hour private.
Uh-huh.
I do a group reading, which is no more, no less than 4 people. Each person receives a private half-hour reading,
Okay.
or a gallery reading, which is unlimited amount of guests, and it's a 2-hour session.
Okay.
So this was a 1-hour, a group reading.
Okay,
And
for
so
the 4
she-
people.
For the 4 people.
Okay.
But she wanted the reading with her daughter. If you're a family member, you can sit in. In the 1-hour reading, you can have as many family members, but it can't be a friend because the whole reading may go to the friend.
Okay.
So it was she and her daughter. And she had it was a beautiful room. And there were 2 huge, like, gymnasium doors with that were mahogany, with, those brass long handles. And she had a long bench in front of it, and I put my things on there, and immediately came through for her daughter, who was a young lady, and I said, you have a friend who passed in a car accident, and he was a boy that lived on the edge. He loved the dangerous life. And then all of a sudden during the reading, it sounded like my items on the bench were being dragged back and forth, to which she and her mother turned their head and said, what the heck is that?
But they weren't. They were
They
there?
experienced that part.
They heard it,
Yes.
but your stuff stayed, correct?
My stuff stayed in place. However,
You heard it.
sounded like
Right.
it was being dragged on
Wow.
the bench.
Wow.
And that's when they turned and they said, what the heck is that? And I said, don't worry, it's just your friend. He's just making himself very present to you. And the reading ended, and the young lady was a little shaken.
Right.
And they went to get the next guest for me to read. Now, whenever I have in a group reading the next person coming, I have candles, and I always change candles for the next guest.
Okay.
I remember I was standing, and I'm holding 2 candles to put down, when all of a sudden, those 2 doors started to shake violently.
Wow.
Violently. The sound, gymnasium doors when they have the chain and you
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
open it?
yeah,
It
yeah.
sounded that way, but banging back and forth. And it also sounded like a train was coming through. And I thought, any minute now, someone's going to appear. And I said, you're at peace now. You're at peace. And it just stopped.
Oh,
It
you
went
told
down.
the spirit
I
that?
told the
'Cause the
spirit,
spirit was
you're
upset?
you're at peace. Not upset. He just wanted to get my attention.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
said, you're at peace. And it just stopped.
That's crazy.
And that was the only really physical kind of
experience I've had. I've had other things. I always love to, when someone is a skeptic, and usually it's when I give a private reading to a woman, and it's usually the husband.
I was going to say my father is.
Yes, most men are. Now, I respect anybody who doesn't believe. It's quite all right. And there are very many variables.
Choice, right.
Of course, and there are many variables that play into that, but it's quite all right. So I was once reading a woman, and her husband is a very huge skeptic, and his grandmother came through.
Okay.
So I said, I need him to come in. She said, I don't know. I said, have him come in. It's all right if he doesn't. So I said, you have your grandmother here? And she's telling me how much, with love and talking about. And I said, and I'm talking this way. Now, when I talk to spirit, I talk at eye level. Remember? And I can't have anything crowding my right or nor my left, because that's where I talk to spirit. But when I was reading his grandmother, I kept looking down. And then I said, you have your grandfather here. And I kept looking down. I didn't notice it until I was aware. I said, it's something very funny. I've never had this happen. Normally, when I talk to spirit, I'm looking at them in eye level. But for some reason, I'm talking to your grandparents. I'm down, and I'm going to show you. I like to show people exactly what I'm saying. I said, your grandmother is here, and your grandfather is right next to her, laying down here. And he said, oh my God, there's a very good explanation for that. I said, what? He said, I just exhumed my grandfather's body, so now he lies next to my grandmother.
Oh my God.
So, and he's now a client of mine.
Oh, I'm certain of that.
Yes. So,
oh, wow.
Yes. So there have been quite intense moments. Some are happy, joyous, and some, because I also feel the spirit, I will get very emotional. Sometimes I can't even finish. I have to write down because I'm overcome. And it's just a wonderful fear for everyone.
Is it frustrating when you're conveying information from the spirit to somebody and it's advice, or they're suggesting that your client do X, Y, or Z, and the client is, you can feel that they're, not that they're not receptive to what's happening, but that they're not accepting of the information, that's not what they want to hear. Like, how do you feel about, you're just kind of conveying, and it's with whatever you want to do with the information, it's your choice?
Well, yes, I have had that. I have had moments where we're having an argument between the client and spirit. Literally an argument.
That must be fabulous.
Yes, I had a woman, I'm telling
you. Need your whistle
right.
at that point.
She had a childhood friend, and she said something about her child, which was just, at the time, but she's highly sensitive, and she tried to ask for forgiveness. They've been childhood friends, and the friend's mother came through in the reading, and she was telling her she didn't mean it. You've been friends for so long, make up with her, but she wouldn't do it. I said, well, you just, nope. She was so stubborn, and she was an Israeli woman. Now, here was another amazing thing that happened to me. I do not speak Hebrew, and it was a back and forth, and I felt my body do this. I turned my body and I screamed out something in Hebrew. I had no idea. And she looked at me and she said, Michele, oh my God, do you...
Ivrit, I speak it.
But that's how she said it. Do you know what you just said? I said, no. You told me enough already. Stop being so stubborn, in Hebrew. And I was stunned by that. But she still would not. No, she wouldn't listen. She wouldn't, but you know what? That's out of my hands. I give you the message. It's up to you. You have free will. Whether you take it or whatever. But I always try to encourage people, remember, that reading is sacred.
Right.
Because of, as I said earlier, they see everything that was, what is, and what will be.
I was going to say, they see more than we do, even though we here on Earth, think we know it all. It doesn't necessarily, they can see the future.
Of course.
Is that right?
Yes. They will tell me things that will be coming, or a warning, or some joy that will be coming. I told a woman who had 4 children, I see your mother is knitting blue, another baby. She said, no way, Michele, that's it. 4 is enough. I said, you're going to have a boy. Your grandmother is showing me, and she's knitting blue. And lo and behold, she did have another, and it was a little boy.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
We have to take another break.
Okay.
I hate to do that, though. Your stories are so good. When we come back, Michele's going to share a little insight about me, and then we're all going to find out how we can find Michele. Stay with us.
Choosing Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away. 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no obligation Medicare benefits consultation. 856-226-4800.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to create a better visitor experience.
Improve our workflow.
Attract new customers. That's when Fast Signs recommended fleet graphics.
Yeah, now business is rolling in. Get started at fastsigns.com.
What do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe a musician? A veterinarian? Maybe an equestrian? A mommy? Well, why not be all these things and more? Consider joining me, Dr. V, with friends and colleagues as we explore a wide range of topics together. V is for variety, here on RVN TV.
There you go, Richard. Oh! Is that too hard for you?
No. Is it too hard for you?
Woo! We're playing catch now. Oh, shit.
Welcome back once again, more with Mindy Barnett, joined by Michele Stillman. She is an amazing medium. And Michele, we were going to talk a little bit about, for those of you who may not know, I have a book. It's a motivational memoir called Intermission, How Fervor, Friendships, and Faith Got Me to My Second Act. And it really is a platform for me to try to help people. So I was asking Michele a little off camera, and she's going to share with me now. Would you see this book being a success?
Absolutely. Where I do see you being successful is traveling the country and giving lectures and helping women with the same situation, be it an abusive relationship, just didn't work out for whatever reason, but I really do see you helping people in their struggle, in their marriages, or whatever their struggles may be in life.
That's
and
incredible.
how to come out of that and to be successful.
That's great.
Yes.
Because that's really why I wrote the book. I obviously feel as though it's somewhat of a calling for me to give people encouragement and uplifting, motivational, oomph, if you will, to try to get the wherewithal to do something that they need to do.
It's a wonderful, and you have a wonderful gift also in doing that. And I definitely see you doing that and helping people around the country.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about how people at home, if they want to have a reading, they want to have the 4 session reading
Yes.
or a group reading or whatever it may be, look right into that camera and tell everybody out there, Michele, where they can find you.
All right. Well, if you want to reach me for a reading, all you have to do is either contact me on my page on Facebook called Psychic Medium Michele Stillman. It's Michele with 1 L, or you can contact me via email at michele18@gmail.com.
That's easy enough.
It's
and
very
Stillman's
easy.
2 L's, right?
Stillman is 2 L's, Michele 1 L.
1, 2. Got
1,
it.
2.
All right. Well, you have been an absolute pleasure to have on the show. We definitely want you to come back.
I would
and do
love
something,
to.
Maybe as we get ready for the spring or summer or whatever it may be. Obviously you're one of my favorite people.
Well, right back at you, Mindy. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, and have a wonderful holiday.
You-
Happy Thanksgiving.
you as well.
Is the turkey gonna burn?
Depends on
your kitchen.
Depends on who's cooking it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.